the zone like Josh is in the zone right now.
Very good.
Hello, YouTube. It has been a while. We are not dead. Well, we might be. Maybe I'll save that bit for the podcast. Let me hit record on Audacity.
Oh yeah, let me record.
Yeah.
I am recording.
All right. I'm recording as well.
Have recorded.
Nice. Welcome to the show. This is the season 1 finale. Listeners, welcome in. It's good to be with you. Josh and Johnny, it's good to be with you as well. Josh, welcome back, man. How was vacation?
It's, to quote the great Ken, sublime. It was fantastic.
Very good.
I didn't know this because I've only ever seen the Atlantic and like the bad part of the Gulf. So the Gulf. And guys, they make blue water.
Oh.
Like
I know, Josh. It even looks blue to me down there.
It'll overcome any color blindness you might have. It is that blue. It looks like Gatorade.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like Arctic blue. No, I'm not a Fed. It looked like blue Gatorade.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right.
Blue flavor.
Yeah. Unrelated, and not to interrupt you, but I got a car freshener in my, like a new car freshener, because I had like this Macintosh flavor, like very fall. It was out of juice, like you couldn't tell. What I got smells exactly like blue Gatorade. Sorry, ADHD moment there. But anyways, I just had to throw that out there.
I realize we don't have an affiliate link, but post show, drop me that link.
Yeah, I got you.
But man, it was nice to not have to cook. It was nice to not have to like, even like when you're in the middle of the Caribbean, like to not even have to worry about like a dumb email. And then I got back into Cozumel and my apartment application had been declined. So then I had to deal with that. Yeah. But then I got to ride an ATV and see.
Oh, you did the ATVs.
Yes. Did you do the ATVs?
I did not. I did snorkeling.
We snorkeled too. Yes.
Oh, good.
So, wow. Okay. Nice.
Here's actually the thing.
Because you got 2 days. That's right. So you got to do two different things.
Yes. So we were going to be in Costa Maya, and then there was bad weather, and so they took us to Cozumel.
Okay. So Costa Maya was also lovely. I love that too.
Didn't get to see an old thing.
Were you going to go to the pyramids?
I was going to go to the pyramids.
Oh, that's what we
guys.
did.
Those are in Egypt, though. I'm pretty sure.
So turns out
the aliens visited both.
They copy.
Oh, did they really?
Into Mexico as well. Yeah. That way we don't have to travel as far. Thanks, aliens.
That's so much easier. All right.
No, we did. Yeah, we ATV'd through some cenotes. I'm really great at Mayan languages, obviously. It was great. I got to swim underneath a billion bats.
Wow.
Oh,
that was fun.
Did any of them poop on you?
No, one dropped a little seed near me, but that's about it.
Okay, very good.
Thankfully, no guano.
Josh, what type of person are you on vacation when it comes to souvenirs?
Are
you the get every little trinket that exists? Are you the I'm gonna buy that $1,000 diamond skull? Like, what kind of souvenir guy are you?
I'm actually anti-souvenir. I want to buy something that is like I don't like souvenirs.
Well, that's right, because Josh hates old things. He only buys the newest. Not even in style yet for another 5-year.
I am not an early adopter. I'm going to buy something that is actually authentic to the area. But I did end up buying one thing because I was walking through a store and I brushed over a porcelain cat. And it didn't break, but it chips the ear. And the guy was like, "Oh, you got to pay for it, $16." So now I have a cat with a little chip in its ear.
Wait, you had to buy a porcelain cat?
I have a clay cat now.
I'm so glad I asked this question.
It's blue. It's still wrapped up because I'm moving soon, so I don't want to bother with it.
You can glue it, Josh.
No, he didn't give me the other part. So
what? You paid $60 for it. You get the whole freaking cat.
16.
Oh, 16.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, much different. That's much better.
No,
very good.
For 60, I'm buying out the shack.
I know. I was like, 60's robbery. You got to negotiate.
Yes. Yeah, so I have a dumb cat now. I'll put it somewhere in the new digs. But no, if I'm buying something, I'm buying something that, like, first off, is not just like a drop shipped thing from AliExpress. That's like half of the stuff I saw there. I'm like, I could buy this for pennies on the dollar from any number of reputable or less than reputable Amazon sites. 2, I want to contribute to the local economy. So like I'll buy a handmade thing that is actually used in that culture, not just like, hey, we'll put your name onto any bracelet. I'm like, you guys don't. I can do that too. I'm just too lazy. So this is my hot take. I'm pretty anti-souvenir. If I want a memory of a place, I want a memory of like the culture before like, big Whitey McGee over here goes and starts gawking at you.
Josh, final question, because apparently the podcast today is just, how was Josh's vacation?
That's fine. That's what the people want to know anyways.
That's exactly
what was the final tally. And I texted Josh this earlier in the week. What was the final tally of iguanas? If you've never been down to the Yucatan, they're roughly the size of a house cat.
Yeah.
They're quite large down there. They're pretty cool. But they're a little startling because you're not used to them, and they kind of exist like squirrels out in the wild. I mean, they're up in the trees. They're everywhere.
During the ATV expedition, we saw one. It was the dry season down there when we went, and so a lot of them were hiding. And so my sister saw 2. And then on snorkeling day, turns out they don't swim. So I saw
not those ones.
I did see fish, but those fish were not iguanas last time I checked.
No, sadly, they're not.
So our total, between my sister and me, our total tally was 3, but it was a dry season. And had we done the excursions we did go on, were not iguana heavy. So had we done the pyramid, we would have been, we would have been,
I was going to say,
up to our noses in iguanas.
They were all over Costa Maya when I was there for that. Even in the city, they were like squirrels. They were literally like squirrels. They're a little startling because you're not used to like a reptile being like about at your shoulder height or above you. And there they are, but they're just chilling. They don't do anything to you.
They're fine.
They're pretty cool.
I have no issue with them. No, they were fine. Yeah, one was just in the middle of our road, so we slowed down and let it cross the road before we ATV'd.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Very nice. Josh, I do have one concern.
Yeah.
And my concern is that you are not real and that you are still on vacation, and what the listeners have been listening to is in fact you on OpenAI ChatGPT 4.0. That's my concern. There's no way to know if you're real.
Okay.
It's true.
That man is not real.
I thought we agreed that we wouldn't tell them.
Oh, dang it.
Until season 2.
Dang it. That's my fault. I'm sorry, Josh. You're right. We did promise that.
Yeah,
or fake Josh, AI Josh. Yep, cliffhanger. Yeah. Will real Josh be back in season 2, or will we stay with fake AI Josh?
Yes.
To be determined.
If I knew enough about AI to like start saying AI type sentences, it'd be great, but I don't know. I don't like ChatGPT, so I don't get on it enough. It's okay.
One of these days, we may just release a podcast that is actually us AI, because there's look, we have 150 plus episodes. There is plenty of our, for better or worse, there is plenty of our voices on the internet that ChatGPT or whatever AI can use to make us.
Create a sports podcast about the NBA finals.
Josh, did you have ice cream every day? Please tell me you had ice cream every day.
Oh, you know I had ice cream.
Oh, good.
Yes, good. I'd say you got to go back if you didn't. Try again.
Yeah.
No,
go back to start. Try again.
Sometimes multiple. Like, it was great.
Of course. It's included.
There. It's free. I'm not paying for anything extra. I'm getting the free ice
cream. You got
to
eat that ice cream fast, though. I'm telling you.
The first
it's a nightmare for me. I'm the slowest eater ever.
The first ice cream I got, I was like, thank you for the ice cream. I turned around and it was already hitting my shirt.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, crap.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Life.
You get the vanilla because just in case.
Just in case. Yeah. No, I literally walked up to the upper deck to like meet with my family, and at that point half of it had melted straight into my hands.
You can't wait till you sit down to eat it. You eat it while on the walk. On the walk.
Yes,
absolutely.
I will say, everything about the vacation was great. The room was fine. The room was smaller, but it had four beds. It was totally workable. You had the room anyway. It was a place to sleep.
Yep.
Food was great. Staff was very friendly. I got to read a book, like a normal book. Well, when I say normal book, a science fiction book from the 50s, but
for you normal.
Yeah.
Within range. Yeah. closer to normal than an old dusty theology book written by a dead German.
Yep, checks out.
The worst part of it, and I will say this is by far the worst part.
Slander on the podcast now.
Charles
you
Barkley
and Charles
has never
Barkley
been more correct about a thing in his life. The town
oh my gosh.
Oh man.
The town itself, actually, lots of like vibes, lots of like kind of Gilded Age architecture, early 20s.
Oh,
like yeah, I'm like it was good. Like yeah, lots of brick buildings, lots of I'm like well kept up. We were in the area that also had the Texas A&M Galveston campus, so like some of that may have been better kept up anyway. Like yeah, this is a great town. It's chill, quiet, nothing crazy. And then we get to the Galveston Bay or whatever they call that monstrosity of an outlet. First off, it feels like everything that gets dumped out of the Mississippi goes straight to Galveston. All the nasty, the mud and the dead fish and the diseases and whatever they throw in by the time it hits New Orleans, it comes straight to Galveston and then just kills the rest of the fish.
I will say, Straight to Galveston, good band name.
Straight to Galveston.
Good
Straight to
band
Galveston's a great band name.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's a great band name.
It is.
I'd also do that as like a good album.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a good, like I could do.
Yep.
You know how like Black Sabbath had Black Sabbath, the song on the album Black Sabbath for the band Black Sabbath. Like Straight to Galveston, you could do that same thing.
Yeah, totally agree.
That's a great pop punk band. But
was it Dirty Brown Water, Josh?
Water is generous. Like it was viscous, man. It wasn't fun at all.
Were people on the beach?
Not where we were.
Okay.
I was texting. I have a lot of friends.
How could you be on the beach?
I have a lot of friends from like the Houston area. So like we weren't ever near the boardwalk area. So maybe the boardwalk's nicer. It isn't, but maybe it was. But I had some friends who born and raised in South Houston, so like North Galveston basically. And they were like, "Oh yeah, Galveston's so great. If you're staying there for a few days, I'll give you some recs." And he's like, "Whatever you do, don't you dare enter that water."
But that was when Charles insulted it too. Everybody online was like, no one was actually defending, like telling Charles he was wrong. They were all like, hey, don't hate on Galveston. But no one was at any point like, no, the water's so great. You should definitely go to the beaches. Here's a photo. It's wonderful. Like, no, not one response like that.
Galveston, I don't know if I've said this on the podcast, but having now been there, I can confirm. Galveston is the Cleveland of Texas.
Oh.
Now,
wait, is it Cleveland? Because Cleveland's, or is it Toledo?
Oh. See, I think of Cleveland because of the Bay.
I think it's Toledo.
I think it could be the Toledo.
Cleveland is quite nice now. I will say.
Here's the thing. I like Cleveland. And no one I've ever here's the thing. You talk to Ohioans about you trash talk Cleveland or you trash talk Cincy, and you have people going to go, "Hey, listen, shut up." Yeah, we know it's bad, and the fish no longer have as many diseases as they used to. So we're getting
the lake is no longer on fire.
The lake hasn't caught fire recently.
Yep.
We have a national park because it caught on fire. So
yes.
You know.
Hey,
live and learn.
What? It's because of us you have your EPA, so you're welcome. So
we lit our lake on fire, so you didn't have to. You're welcome.
At the very least, Cleveland's is getting better. Guardians are doing okay.
Yeah,
Browns
they are.
Try. Cavs were doing okay. Like, okay.
An attempt. Yes.
An attempt. And that's all you can ask for.
Yep.
And there are Cleveland apologists. I have not yet met a Galveston apologist, including locals. No Texan I have met yet, and I've been here 5 years. No Texan I've ever met has gone, "Hey, stop trashing Galveston."
Galveston apologist, also a good band name.
Galveston apologist. Ooh, that's
now good. Sorry, good title track, because we know the band name is Glade Horizon. We already know that actually.
But Straight to Galveston is still
still pretty good.
Straight to Galveston just slaps.
Yeah, it does.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Straight to Galveston is actually, instead of straight to jail, that's where I'm sending people.
That's so good. Straight to Galveston. All right, we'll make a new audio clip coming your way in season 2. We will talk.
Charles said Cancun's too good for these
and
people.
You know
That's
what?
true.
And here's the thing, and I'll segue this better for you.
Josh was literally at both places.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you find any NBA teams there while you were there? That was the big question we didn't ask you.
Here's the thing.
Were the Phoenix Suns chilling when you got to Cancun?
Oh my god. Yeah,
wave at Kevin Durant.
Jokic helped me with my bags afterwards. It was very nice of him.
Yeah.
He was very confused. There was there were no horses on. Well, there were a few, not a ton on Cozumel. But no, there was a sports bar in the the Royal Promenade. And every other night, I got to watch either the Mavs or the Stars.
Yep.
And it was a great time. Here's the one redeeming thing about launching from Galveston. I was with a ton of Mavs and Stars fans.
Yeah, that's fun.
That's fun.
That was fun.
That's fun. I got to watch the NBA Finals, Ray Allen NBA Finals on a cruise, and that was pretty cool on the projector. The boat was going way too fast. It was crazy windy out there, and everyone's still standing there, like,
I love it.
Probably pretty dangerously watching that game.
Hey,
and Ray Allen hits
the fact that random people on a cruise were more, we're willing to sacrifice more than the Heat fans themselves just speaks volumes.
Yeah, honestly,
that's why
speaks volumes.
3 beers before 9:30 a.m. It balances out.
Yeah.
I highly recommend going on a catamaran and going 3 beers deep before 9:30 a.m. Just once. Don't make a habit of it. That's irresponsible.
Yeah.
You got to do it once though.
Three beers deep on a catamaran actually is not a bad band name either.
Bad band name.
We gotta stop.
That's the album to the unreleased Jimmy Buffett.
100%.
This is quite the season finale.
This is quite the season finale. Listeners, I don't know if you're expecting anything else. Let's talk quick about the Dallas teams, and then we can get on to the rest of the show, which will continue to be whatever the heck we want to talk about, because it's our season finale, and you just have to put up with it. Yes, Josh, we're looking, before you jumped on, Johnny and I were going back and looking at season 1 picks of the week, because, not to spoil what we're about to talk about here soon, but we've known this for a while. Johnny is running away with season 1. Your picks are looking very good for season 2, because you picked Dallas to win both the NHL Stanley Cup and the NBA Finals, which right now, both of those teams are 8 wins away. They're both in the conference finals. Before we dive into the matchups, because we know the matchups in the NBA, the NHL is a little bit TBD, because Edmonton, Vancouver Game 7 is happening right now as we're recording. It is remarkable, number one, that there will be, it's already official, there will be a 6th NBA team, new NBA team, to win an NBA Finals. And by that, I don't mean a team that has never won it before. I mean, we haven't had a back-to-back winner in 6 years. In that same time span, the winner of the NBA Finals has not made it back to a conference finals. It speaks to the parity of the league. It speaks to the wealth of talent. Anthony Edwards, I don't know if I've ever seen a player impact a game more despite shooting 8 for 24, like Anthony Edwards did for Minnesota in Game 7. What else it says to me is that LeBron going to 8 straight NBA Finals is completely and utterly absurd. It's unbelievable, because we haven't had a team even do it twice in a row. And this man did it 8, I believe the number is 8, 8 times in a row.
Yes, it's 8.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Really puts it in perspective.
It does.
Really puts it in perspective. I honestly, Aaron, I don't know about you. You follow NBA closer than me and Josh. I love the parody. I'm always about the parody.
This is fantastic.
I absolutely love this. And I think, to put it very simplistically, a big reason, other than what you just said, wealth of talent, especially just international talent being flooded into the league, players aren't teaming up anymore for these super teams. And while most of them were relatively short-lived, even when they did it at high levels of success, like, we haven't had really another successful attempt at a super team, because the Clippers and Suns fail. Oh, Brooklyn. Don't want to forget you. You're in that too. But
Milwaukee, like, kind of. But that's
utter failure.
Anyways,
utter failures. So, like, because we have duos. You could argue we have duos like Kyrie and Luka are together. Right. But there's not like this super team feel by any of them.
Right.
And so, but I love that. Yeah. It's not that I want you to all be playing, like all these star players to be playing with a bunch of crap and they have no good players around them. But like, hey, guess what? Instead of having the third superstar, you could actually have a bench and Phoenix, a point guard and outside shooting. And when one guy gets hurt, you're not done and dead in the water. So like, I mean, I love the Minnesota team. Shout out Mike Conley.
Oh yeah.
Buckeye. I mean, that dude is so much more important to that team than anyone gives him credit for. Like he didn't play in game 5 and it was evident he didn't play in game 5 and he was back for 6 and 7. Yep. And it was a big, big deal. He's the veteran leadership. Nobody deserves a title more than that dude. He's been awesome. So I'm kind of cheering for Minnesota the rest of the way. Yeah. Just so Mike can get a ring.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that we are either getting Minnesota or Dallas in the NBA Finals is super fun. Johnny, we also mentioned last week, like we both kind of agreed the Boston Celtics would probably be the least fun team to win an NBA Finals. And I wasn't sure how other people felt. On Twitter the last couple of days, everyone has made it perfectly clear what they think. I think everyone is just like anyone except the Celtics, just because the Celtics are just the team that always is there. And like, I really don't dislike the Celtics at all, but
no,
Indiana,
I have some dislike for the Celtics, but I'm a Cavs fan. So, there's a little bad blood from earlier on, but I don't hate them.
And in theory, I should, because I'm, which team I root for, but the team that shall not be named shall continue to not be named. Josh, you've got a busy sports schedule next door in the arena that you can see from your current location.
Yes.
Because the Mavericks are the road team in games 1 and 2, and because the Stars will be the home game in games 1 and 2, it's basically every single night until one of those series is over that a game is in town. Fun times. Again, a long series for the Stars, obviously a long series for the Mavericks, but both teams pull it out. Unbelievable.
DeBoer, real quick, since we're on the subject, please win a game 1. Just win one. Just win one game 1. It's not.
Josh, he has a process.
I don't like it though.
Trust the process. Would you rather win game 1 and lose the series? Trust it. Trust the process.
Why not both? Why not both?
No, don't be greedy.
See, the Cowboys wish they could do a best of 7.
The Cowboys wish they could just get to where the Stars and Mavericks are right now.
Are you kidding me? They'd make it to game 7 every single time and choke instead.
Yeah, that's so
all
true.
It would be doing is drawing out. They just, exactly. They just delay it. They go to game 7 every series in the first round, especially.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. So, Josh, I'm excited for Dallas. I like this Stars team a lot. I like Mavericks a lot. It's so funny that Kyrie and Luka have worked out the way it has
so well.
Who knew?
They love
actually shocking.
I remember I was like, when it first happened, we were like, okay, on paper, maybe. But we know what Kyrie's history is, and it's going to go bad. And for the first half season that they were together, it was neutral, which was way worse than what they were paying for.
Sure.
And off season, I mean, they have fun. They look like they're enjoying themselves. Honestly, we always joke about Jokic and his just desire to go back and raise his horses.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually why they lost.
He is furious that he is good at basketball. He seems like a guy who's really disappointed that he's this good. I was starting to get some of that vibe with Luka for a little bit. And I think I saw this at last year's playoffs where it was just he was so frustrated. 2 years ago, had very little help around him, and couldn't do too much because it almost guaranteed a lot. And I was like, I don't know. And I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but I was wondering, how long does he have realistically here? I could see him getting super frustrated and I'm going to go nowhere here. I'm just spinning my wheels. And they, with him and Kyrie, they love it here. And it is so refreshing to see.
Yeah.
They enjoy playing basketball. They're fun to watch, regardless of whether or not they're winning. It's been so much more fun to watch.
Yeah,
turns out they also got hot at the exact right time.
Yeah, they really did.
That's part of it.
Defensively,
regardless, too. Western Conference, exactly.
Yeah, no question.
The Western Conference is so tight this year, though, that a big piece of it is just who got hot at the right time this year as well.
Absolutely.
And that's not taking anything away from Dallas, because defense is 90% effort and will. So, that's not taking anything away. But it was, those teams were, the West was just so loaded. And we do need to talk about the East a little bit, I guess, outside of Boston. But, the West was so good this year. You could argue that, I'm sorry, Indiana. I don't want to, it's an accomplishment you got here. It's not like you didn't earn it. But I think there's 4 teams in the West that probably beat Indiana in a series, and they're there instead of Boston. Mm-hmm. And I'm not including Dallas and Minnesota. I'm saying 4 beyond them that probably beat Indiana. And Indiana shot, literally broke records in that game, 7 against the Knicks. But the Knicks, at that point, it was their B team out there. They just had no one left to play.
Yep.
So, that was frustrating as a fan to watch personally. I don't know about you guys. That was just I was really excited for Game 7. I'm let's go Indiana. There's something about Indiana and the Knicks going at each other that's just kind of fun. And I know everyone, especially ESPN, wanted the Knicks to be playing Boston. But
tough.
Yeah, tough.
The graphic Boston they released when Indiana won was Times New Roman. There's no shot ESPN was even ready for this thing to occur.
No.
But Jalen Brunson goes out with a broken hand, and they're oh boy.
Right. What were you going to do?
Yeah.
There's literally, there's nothing, I think Knicks fans should overall be pleased with how the season went. And I think they are. Yeah, I think they are. Because, if they're healthy, they beat Indiana.
Yeah.
It's just true. It doesn't get to a Game 7 if they're actually healthy. They came into the series hurt without their 2 of their big men. So, good job, Indiana. But Indiana doesn't play defense. Boston's just going to probably gentlemen sweep them too. So, congratulations on making it, Pacers.
The Celtics should.
That was...
Now, the Pacers did set a record in Game 7 for field goal percentage in a playoff game. Not a Game 7, a playoff game. They shot the lights out. They're capable of that. Now, they are not super capable of playing defense. So if it gets to a shootout, which some of these games may, even though Boston is one of the best defenses in the league, that's going to be really interesting because unlike New York can score, but they're not. When you think of the New York Knicks, especially under Tom Thibodeau, that's not what you think of. You think of defense first, and certainly they've got plenty of shooters, plenty of guys that can score when healthy. This is a little different. The Celtics can drop 120 on you on a nightly basis, and I hope the Pacers do well. It's cool to see how this lineup has gelled with Haliburton and Pascal Siakam and Miles Turner. I really like this team a lot, but yikes. This is
they're missing that star player though in reality. They just are.
I think Haliburton is that, maybe not this year. He is that kind of player moving forward. I really think so.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know offensive. I don't know.
The way he can distribute the ball, all the above. I think he's the answer. I think that core, if kept together, could do some damage. But this series, the Celtics should win in 5. If they don't, then that'll be interesting, especially considering who they've played. And who they played is a beat-up Cavs team and then the 8 seed, a beat-up Miami Heat team without Jimmy Butler. There's no reason.
Easiest pass ever to the NBA Finals.
Yep.
I know people hate those storylines where you're just oh, it was an easy. This is legitimately maybe the easiest walk to the finals I've ever seen in my lifetime. You're playing an 8 seed, no Jimmy Butler, just no Jimmy. You're playing the Cavs team who only got 1 game from you. If Donovan plays, they at least get a second. The last 2 games were close without him, and you didn't have Jared Allen the whole time either. So you probably lose another game or 2 to the Cavs if they're actually whole, but they're not. So you gentlemen sweep them too. Somehow you still lose a game to the Cavs and the Heat in that, and then you play at I mean, at best, like Aaron's saying, the not ready yet Indiana Pacers. And that's like the most optimistic version. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you're just saying like, Indiana's kind of fortunate to be here too.
Yeah.
So that, again, I say it every week. That's not to say the Celtics are this bad team. Both can be true. They're a good team. They've also gotten a cakewalk. To the NBA Finals, like cakewalk.
Yeah, no question. NHL, also good to keep your eye on. Obviously, the Stars are awaiting the winner of Edmonton, Vancouver. The East is fascinating. You've got the Rangers, you've got the Panthers. Both teams were the top seed in their respective divisions, so you are getting great on great in that series. The Panthers have been really, really sharp so far. It pains me a little bit, but Sergei Bobrovsky, goaltender for the Panthers, has somehow figured out how the postseason works with Florida. He had like one series, like obviously the series that the Blue Jackets beat the Tampa Bay Lightning back in 2019 as an 8 seed. So that's mildly infuriating. Also on the other side for the Rangers, you have Artemi Panarin, also a former Blue Jacket. So it's a time of the year that I love because I love playoff hockey, but it's infuriating seeing former Blue Jackets just go ham in the playoffs.
I've been so frustrated with that series.
Yeah,
mentally, and just remembering the last time the Blue Jackets
did anything,
have any amount of joy.
Just do what I do, guys. Just pretend they don't exist. It's easier.
Okay,
listen,
it's easier just to pretend the Blue Jackets don't exist.
It's a lot easier when I can just walk to American Airlines and just like.
Yeah, that helps.
Go to. I mean, when my dad was here a few weeks ago, we just did they were playing the Blues.
Oh, nice.
They were hosting the Blues for the season finale, and we just would tailgate it because it was like easier than having memories of the Blue Jackets.
Yep.
I'm like, Dad, I want to make you happy. I want to make you happy for a few minutes. Let's pretend you're from Dallas.
Yeah.
Does anybody even know that the Blue Jackets exist outside of the Midwest? Maybe that's generous. Ohio.
Whenever someone mentions hockey, I will say Blue Jackets, and I have to remind them.
Yeah,
that's worse. The only thing worse than being bad is being completely irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and the Blue Jackets are irrelevant.
They can't even get a. I mean, when I say they can't,
people don't even hate them.
Right? It's not.
You gotta have some hater.
It's too exhausting and demoralizing to even bring up hate.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to a less depressing subject. The Cincinnati. I'm just kidding. We're not talking about the Reds tonight. I can't do it. Even though they have played the most games against the division leader, but that's it. That's the only thing I'm going to say about the Reds. They are very sad. Baseball note, though, I did get the chance this weekend. Josh, you were talking about your travels. I got the chance to be in Chicago this weekend, which was a lot of fun. Shout out to my brother and sister-in-law and 7th month. I always say 7th month year old because I'm dumb. 7th month old niece. Thanks for hosting us in Chicago. We caught a Cubs game yesterday. They did lose to the Pirates, so the Cubs are actually kind of going through it right now as well. But that was a blast. And then the night before. Johnny, this is where we'll introduce our soccer segment with our 2 listeners who like soccer.
Yeah.
We'll talk Crew in just a second because I also had the chance to catch the Columbus Crew at Soldier Field where they were playing the Chicago Fire.
I saw that, yeah.
Johnny, quick rant. Good season for Arsenal, but it was the season that could have been.
Yeah, the Crew made me feel a little bit better. They turned around all those ties and won the last 2, beating Montreal on the road, then beating Chicago on the road, even not really playing great.
No.
So that was awesome. But pretty entertaining, I would think, Aaron. The 3-1 game.
It was awesome.
Nice to watch at least.
Yep.
Yeah. I my timeline on Sunday was the end of church. I book at home because it's Premier League. It's in England, so for them like somewhat prime time is almost like 11 a.m. So I'm like, okay, like let's rush home. I get YouTube TV hasn't figured out that like soccer can also be like 2 sports like 2 soccer games can be going on at the same time, and let's double screen it for that. So I had to pull out the laptop like old times, So I'm ready. I got Man City, playing West Ham on my laptop. I got Arsenal Everton on the TV. I'm ready to go. And 90 seconds in, Phil Foden just sinks a dagger into my heart immediately. I guess he had the decency to do it right off the bat. City beat West Ham 3-1. Arsenal ended up pulling it out against Everton 2-1. You could kind of tell they play all the games on, they call it Championship Sunday, at the exact same time, with the idea of like there's no advantage of like one team has their, it's like the third game of the World Cup group stage.
Yep.
You know, you don't want teams having the advantage of, oh, now because of their result, we know we only need a draw, so we're going to play this differently. You don't want that. But like clearly the atmosphere in the Emirates where Arsenal plays was like immediately just groaning. Like right off the bat, you could tell the players kind of got that vibe too. Like the message got to them that Man City was already winning. Yeah, so it was frustrating for Arsenal to come 2 points short in the title race. They lost one game in between the end of the season here in May and the new year. They literally lost one game.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, that's brutal. That's brutal to have that kind of run and for that to just not be quite enough. It's not the time for me to be bitter about Man City cheating, which maybe we'll have another segment about Man City cheating another time.
Yeah.
With their 115 financial fair play charges. Whoops. We're not even talking. Yeah, we're not talking officials or VAR or anything. 115 because you know, the Abu Dhabi bankrolls them. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about. It was still a really good year for Arsenal. You know, in a way, like, you know, there's people who are like, oh man, you blew it when you lost to Villa. And yes, of course you can do that. But like 89 points wins the league almost every single year.
Mm-hmm.
And so like in a lot of ways, it's just like, hey man, like if you had told me they lose one game after the new year, I probably just said that was enough. So overall, like pleased with the team. At least they didn't play well, but they at least won that last game against Everton, like to finish it well and at least hypothetically make Man City, you know, win their game. Because if they had even drawn, Arsenal would have won the league. So it was frustrating, but it was fun. It's just a good season. So I guess in my mind, other than me coaching soccer, take like a 3 or 4 week hiatus, and then we'll have the Euros and Copa America right around the corner before it, and then we'll have the Olympics.
Yep.
That'll be soccer too, you know, women, especially I really lock in on the women's team for the Olympics for the US women. So, and that's a new era for them.
Yeah.
Brand new manager, really a changing of the guard with, you know, who's going to be playing on that team. So I'm super fascinated about what that team will look like. So it's going to be a big summer of soccer, but that kind of caps off. I'll take a little bit of a break. The Crew have, I believe, just one more game before they play in their final in CONCACAF. So, it's a detox for the moment of soccer, but it was a good season. Still happy for Arsenal. I hope all the Tottenham fans are really happy with their you know, banner of "We stopped Arsenal from winning the league." You know, that's I hope they enjoy hanging that one in Hotspur Stadium.
Now, does Arsenal make the FIFA Club World Cup because they didn't win the Premier League? What I'm asking is, will the Columbus Crew play Arsenal later next year?
Honestly, I'm just not familiar with the club because they just expanded that too.
Oh, gotcha.
Like before, I think you had to have one.
Okay.
And I don't think that's the case anymore.
I mean, the Crew are better anyways, so it's kind of a.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I think it was only like a 16-team field previously.
Oh wow.
So like you literally like had to win your league. So I'm not familiar. They still might be in it. Technically, it's no trophies this year for Arsenal, that's kind of rough when you make like quarterfinals and Champions League, and you know you finish second in the league. But they're building, and the team overall is young. They'll add to the team, and they'll get after it again next year. We'll see.
Yep. All right, let's make some picks.
Let's pick it.
So, because this is the season 1 finale, and because we will be taking a couple weeks off before we jump back into season 2, I do want to go back to episodes 15 and 16, and that's because that's where we picked the NBA playoffs, and that's where we picked the NHL playoffs. Now, we're obviously in the conference finals, or at least almost, for each respective sport. So the points that we picked, even though they were in season 1, they will apply to season 2. Josh, that is good news for you.
It
because
is. Or it could be really bad.
Or really bad. But, I mean, at the worst, you're just as bad as Johnny and I, pretty much. In the NBA Finals, you have the Dallas Mavericks beating the Boston Celtics. Now, a reminder, how this works is that you get a point if your team reaches the championship. You get an additional point if the team that you pick to win the championship does, in fact, win. So that's looking good that you'd get at least one of those options, if not both,
yes,
which would be 2 points. Yes. Johnny and I both had some form of Celtics Nuggets. Johnny, you actually had the Nuggets over the Celtics, so that's tough for you, which no one cares because you already won season 1. By the way, congratulations, though.
I won my cookie.
The cookie is on its way. Listeners, pay attention to our Instagram at Fifth and Goal Sports. If Johnny's going on a trip, which we'll talk about here in a bit. But when he comes back, if he doesn't stay in this country forever, then we will give him his foot-long cookie. I had the Celtics over the Nuggets, so still a little rough, but not quite as bad. Hockey, I could be real bad because I had the Carolina Hurricanes, who have been eliminated, winning over the Edmonton Oilers, who could also be eliminated tonight. We'll see. Johnny had the Oilers over the Boston Bruins, so again, Boston eliminated, so we're both on thin ice. Josh is just hanging out with the Dallas Stars over the Florida Panthers. So once again, Josh looking good.
Could be
there.
Could be.
We'll throw.
I could potentially, best case scenario, I'm up 6 points.
Yes.
In the matter of
and at that point, it's over. I'm like, I know it's a long season, but it's
if
over
only
at that
Mystic
point.
Dan had come through at the Preakness.
Yeah, for
Third
real.
place, so close.
Yeah. Well, we'll throw some more points in the mix for next week because this week we are picking the SEC baseball tournament. There's not really a tournament, especially as far as conference tournaments goes, that is like the SEC. If your Major League Baseball team has a first-round pick, there is a very high chance that the pick that they are taking will be coming from the SEC. One player to note, this player plays on the Florida Gators. They're only the 9 seed in this tournament. Of course, the SEC is absolutely stacked, so they're probably sitting in regional territory. Jack Caglione is a two-way player, much like Shohei Ohtani. He at one point, I think, had 8 games in a row. Either it was 7 or 8 games in a row with a home run, and he can pitch pretty well too. So he's fascinating to watch. He's projected by a lot of places to be a top 3 pick in this year's MLB draft. I'm not going to pick Florida. I'm going to pick Texas A&M, and I don't have a good reason. This is mostly a vibes pick, but Texas A&M likes to talk a big game. We know it. They smack their rings on any table they can find, and their confidence has to come from somewhere. It's not coming from football. They have been laughably bad. It's not coming from basketball. They've been relatively mediocre. It's got to come from a sport like baseball, where they are a 4 seed in this tournament. They have a bye to the double elimination round that starts on Wednesday. So I'm going to say at some point, they have to have some source of confidence for all of this just cultish activities. That good band name, I call it. Texas A&M. I don't know. Just purely a vibes pick. I hope I'm wrong.
I didn't even look at the seeding.
Nice.
Because I knew who I wanted to pick. LSU. Because if they're good enough for the coach of the opposing team to bet against his own team, if they're good enough for me to try and place a $25,000 bet at the sports book up in Cincinnati, they're good enough for me to pick.
Oh no! I'm going with Rocky Top. I know in the SEC baseball tournament, it is a bad idea to pick the number 1 seed, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'll go with Tennessee, go with the Vols.
I love it. Very good. So there's our picks of the week. I didn't even tell you.
Do these count for this season or next season?
This is next season because this won't. Okay. Well, yeah, because we're not. This is like the last episode, so this will count for next season as well.
Keep padding your win.
Yeah, Johnny, you actually want this.
I think I'm going. I won it in this one, so because I'll probably be wrong. So
yeah, no, you've already won. Game over. If we were down to the wire, if like we had a tie, then yes, this would count. But it's been long gone. Johnny has wiped the floor with us. Now, I think because our seasons are 20 episodes long, we will venture into college football territory towards the end of the season, if my quick math is correct. So, by the way, I will just FYI, since we're talking about season 2. So this episode, well, it's supposed to come out Wednesday, May 22nd. For those that are avidly waiting on the episodes to drop on Wednesday, I'm so sorry. Some of them have been Thursday, but anyways, this will be around Wednesday, May 22. We're going to take 2 weeks off. So the first episode of season 2 that will be hitting your podcast box or wherever you're listening, or on YouTube, we encourage you to check out the show there, will be June 12th. And what happens 2 days later? The Euro Cup. So we're already teasing season 2, episode 1. We'll have all the picks of the week, but we'll also have some Euro Cup. We'll obviously have a lot of NBA and NHL to react to. So just as a heads up, that's what's coming your way. Some housekeeping there. All right, now for the best part of the show. Honestly, this week I probably could have selected 1,000 things to follow. This is not really what I'm following, but actually pertains to our previous conversation about the NBA. So I'll throw it in there before I pick what I'm following. Only one of the top 15 paid NBA players from this season has made the conference finals, and that is Rudy Gobert, who's the 13th highest paid player in the league. Just something to throw out there. Part of that is, we talked a lot about injuries. When you have a player, or if you're the Phoenix Suns, you have multiple players making that kind of money, your depth probably stinks. Most likely, unless you are paying wild luxury tax. And even then, the Phoenix Suns are paying wild luxury tax, or will be, and they have no bench, no depth. So that's something to watch too. Johnny, I think it's a great point you made. We're not seeing necessarily the super teams anymore. I will not go into my rant about teams building through the draft. You just have to look at Minnesota. I will not do that again. You're welcome. But it's worth noting. Now to actually what I'm following, and there's a lot of things. There's anything from Big 12 basketball announcements. Guys, it's a solemn moment for our nation. And it's because they served the common good and were not rewarded for it. Red Lobster has filed for bankruptcy.
Yes.
Applebee's Seafood is in trouble. And why do I say the common good? What public service did they give? They gave us endless shrimp. And they apparently did it at a cost so bad to them that they are, and the American people ate so much shrimp that Red Lobster has essentially gone out of business. Now, that's very sad. I haven't been to very many Red Lobsters, to be fair. I was not one of those people that took advantage of this deal, and now I have regret. I will say, in a similar vein, Buffalo Wild Wings announced on Monday and Wednesdays that you could, for $20, now it's a little bit more expensive, you can get unlimited, now if you go, you have to go to the restaurant for this, unlimited boneless wings and fries. If you want to lose all hope in humanity, have Johnny and I show up to a Buffalo Wild Wings and we'll demonstrate how many wings we can eat.
Especially if I can get a run in before that.
Oh, man.
Empty the tank, man. Ready to go.
I'm hungry just thinking about that.
Yeah. So maybe season 2, we just have an episode from a Buffalo Wild Wings, just consuming more wings than any human should, really, in their entire lifetime. So
hopefully I don't get a leg cramp like that one time. Do you remember that, Aaron?
I do.
That was the worst leg cramp of my entire life.
We played Ultimate Frisbee. We're talking July in Ohio. We're talking probably 90 degrees. Yeah. We played Ultimate Frisbee for...
We're like 18 at this point.
Yeah, we're for like 2 hours. Just absolutely melted outside. Then naturally we went to Buffalo Wild Wings. And as we're getting up to leave, the cramp hits Johnny's calf. And there's no worse pain known to man than just a good calf cramp. And Johnny just goes down. You would have thought he was shot. Just rolling around. And that's really all there is to the story. Eventually he hobbled out and everything was fine, I think. But
no, never recovered. Leg will never be the same.
No.
Yeah. Now, one other thing too, Josh, if you're looking for similarly bad food for you, the Big 12 tournament, I don't know if you saw their hot dog lineup, but it's excellent because this is at Globe Life Field and each team has a specific foot-long hot dog. So it's difficult to say exactly what is on these hot dogs, but they're kind of themed. So the TCU has the horned frog dog, and there is, it looks like there's some ground beef on this, cheese. What's most notable is like red cabbage, which if you know red cabbage, it's purple because we're stupid as a society. And so it's purple. TCU's purple. We've got
There's no frog in that hot dog, is there, Aaron? It's not a ground not a ground horn frog.
There is a side of what looks like
Johnny, you
relish,
don't ask
but
questions
that might just be ground. The relish might be ground up frog, to be fair. So at your own risk. There's a Sooner dog, which just has a bunch of onions piled on it. It seems like Oklahoma needs a thing better than what I'm seeing. Then you've got the Pistol Pete dog, which I think has potato chips on top of it, which that's kind of great. And then there's the Jayhawk dog, which has, I think it's like pulled pork and corn on it, which is a little unusual, but I would try it.
Man, they got pulled pork and the corn. That's incredible.
Yep. So anyways, that's my food related, what we're following.
This is not, this is slightly related. I'm going to just tack it on real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I typed in to Google Big 12 hot dogs because I assumed I would only get one result.
Oh, no.
Instead, I got a Walmart link to the Roller Dog Big 12 stainless steel hot dog roller with drip tray for $110.
It sounds like a buy.
Now it's out of stock, so I'm now looking at its bigger cousin, the 18 dog capacity 5-roller 900 watt stainless steel cook machine,
which is not that far off because the Big 12. How many teams do they actually have at this point? Are we up to 18?
Yeah.
Are we 16? They might have. It doesn't matter. They'll be at 18.
16. As you say, we're getting there. Give them time, Josh. Give them time.
Yeah, delicious hot dogs are popular with people of all ages, providing a quick and easy food option for busy customers. This hot dog maker can make about 18 standard hot dogs at a time and can meet the basic needs of setting up a stall.
Basic needs. I mean, Josh, when I don't have time to cook, what else am I going to do except make 18 hot dogs on my roller really quick?
This is how
that I can have a meal before I leave the house.
Before you go to B-dubs for all you can eat wings.
Yeah, right, of course.
You pre-game with 18 that you made with your personal roller dog machine.
It's outstanding.
I mean, Johnny, and this was the one thing, and I'm so glad we're bringing this up now. I was blessed over Christmas break to go up and spend the night at Johnny's place, and brand new homeowner. And I loved that, it's not a big space, but you make the most of it. And I love specifically your hot dog room. And it is just, it's just 4 rollers, just 24/7, just always getting those dogs ready to go. Yeah, I'm sure Archer loves it. It's been
2-bedroom house. I said, perfect. 1 for me, 1 for the hot dog roller. That's all I need. It goes right next to, the pool table, and it's perfect.
Pool table right next to a hot dog roller could be the move.
Never leave that room. Especially if it has the new NCAA football video game.
You got your man cave has like a fake Aaron Rodgers jersey, like you just signed it your own. That's cool. Or it's got a bar. No, I got a hot dog roller and a pool table in my spare bedroom. Checkmate.
Yep.
Well, I may as well tell you what I'm following since I've already hijacked everything.
Do it.
I'm following 15 things, but I'm gonna just narrow it down to like 3. 1, I'm sending Dallas to Galveston. I'm jail.
Ooh.
And maybe not specifically Dallas. I am gonna send Prepley. I'm actually specifically gonna send Prepley to Galveston because in a national ranking, and I'm putting that in quotes, Prepley, this random whatever, ranked Dallas as the 3rd most walkable city in the nation. Now, Johnny, I don't remember the last time you were in Dallas. Aaron, you've been to Dallas.
Never, actually. Once. I've only been to Houston.
You know what I've complained about most about Dallas? Is that the dart only goes to one place, and that's where all the rich people live. You can't take anything out to Arlington. Arlington is the largest city in the world largest city in America without public transportation. Actually, at that point, probably the largest in the world.
Yeah, we're the only place.
There is nothing walkable about Dallas. There are 4 neighborhoods that if you can find a parking spot, You can walk through that little neighborhood. But everyone knows that, and so you can't. Here's how they got this ridiculous option. Here's how they got this ridiculous ranking. It ranked third behind Chicago. Fair. Yeah. Not great, but I'll give it to them. I don't know if I would call it second, but it's up there. And Nashville.
I thought it was actually more walkable than most people think.
And Nashville, which I've not been, but I can assume is just as bad as Texas.
They're only talking about the bars on the main strip.
They're just talking about Broadway. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all they're talking
Trepley
about.
Says, here's how they did it. Here's our methodology. So you guys who took stats classes, this would be good. See, yeah, we'll start flexing your business stats muscles.
Oh.
They asked 5 people.
It's actually worse. It's actually worse than that. They Googled the 5 most popular tourist hotspots per city and figured out how far it was to walk among all 5 of those. And they gathered from that all of the 5 Dallas tourist hotspots can be covered with 3,500 steps, or about 1.5 miles. Now, I hate that. Because first off, I cannot name you 5 Dallas tourist hotspots. Stop coming here. There's nothing. You want to go to we have like a big ball on the top of a stick, and there's a restaurant up there. It's kind of like the Space Needle, but worse.
That's pretty cool.
It's fun. There's a big like eyeball art installation in downtown. It's genuinely like a 15-foot like circumference, or sorry, 15-foot diameter eyeball. Kind of freaky, but you can look at it. We have an old hotel. We got the place where JFK was shot. I don't know. What else? What is a tourist hotspot? This is the worst. Anyway, I'm just really upset because I want to know.
Tourism doesn't seem to be the best way to determine whether a city's walkable or not.
I'm pulling up.
Perhaps the tourists are not the ones that you should really be measuring. Maybe the actual everyday citizens of said city would have something better to say.
That's a lot of work.
They have
so much work.
Their own internal walk score. I'm on this stupid article right now, and I'm angry now. I was going to be joking.
Josh, they did their job. They made you mad. You're talking about it. You're sharing.
Clicked.
Yep, you clicked it.
Me.
They got you.
On this route, you'll pass nationally acclaimed Dallas Arboretum. Beautiful botanical garden. And it's true. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. You should go there, as well as Reunion Tower, which is the big ball on a stick.
Nice.
Those are like 10 miles away from each other. You cannot walk through those.
Josh, they're all within 1.5 miles. The article said.
Yeah.
It takes. I
think you're wrong.
Yeah.
I live 5 miles away
go into your fake
right
Josh.
now.
Go into your database. Go into your ChatGPT database and do some calculations.
I gotta start a new tab because I did say create a sports podcast about the NBA Finals in the style of Pat McAfee, and it says Mac. What's up, sports fans? Welcome to another electrifying episode of From Downtown. I'm your host Pat Mac, and I'm joined by the squad.
Yeah.
Steve Swish Johnson and Sarah Swoosh Thompson.
Oh wow.
You know who's in the finals for this year for ChatGPT?
Oh,
the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh, that'd be so funny. It's Bucks Lakers, you idiot.
Nice.
Let's see here, and then Warriors Nets. Yeah, it's Warriors Nets and Bucks Lakers for the finals. I said NBA Finals, and that's what it gave.
Oh,
game 1.
They gave you 2 matchups.
Game 1, Bucks versus Lakers.
Okay.
Game 2, Warriors versus Nets.
What? What?
So and then game 3 is back to Lakers Nets.
Interesting. It's a round robin, maybe.
Watch out for role player Chris Middleton.
It's not a group stage until you get to
What's up for role player Chris Middleton goes crazy as a band name, by the way.
Role players like Chris Middleton and Clay Thompson could be difference makers in this series. I hate to tell Pat Mack, I don't think it's gonna work out.
Oh man. Wow.
So that was the other thing I was following.
That's very amazing.
Good. Man. Also, the U.S. government, the U.S. Department of Defense, does have a strategic guide for a zombie apocalypse.
Oh.
I have the PDF. I'm staring at the PDF right now.
Is there a test to see how long you'd survive?
So theoretically, what it is, it's a 16-page document that they made because they wanted to do like field training and like examine their students in training without having to use a real place. So they made up a zombie apocalypse, and it's all like real world analogs, and so that's fun.
Josh, how well do you think?
It's called Conplan 8888.
How well do you think you do? I actually think that's one of my stronger apocalypses. I think I do quite well in a zombie. Other ones not so good.
Current location, it's rough. I'll be honest.
Oh yeah, that's true. You're kind of screwed.
I'm kind of screwed. I will say, everyone always talks about, I'm just gonna get in my bike or my truck. No, gas goes bad after a year, barely. I mean, if it gets to a year.
You have clearly never watched any apocalyptic show, Josh. Exactly. It can work thousands of years afterwards.
I'm talking, exactly, which is why I'm talking about a real zombie apocalypse. So I'm going to use my mountain bike to get away from where all the zombies are anyway. And I'm going to the woods immediately, but I can't because there's no woods because I live in the metro area.
Where's the woods?
The woods are an hour drive. I gotta
zombies go for the brains, right?
Again, I'm quite good at this zombie apocalypse.
That's what I was gonna say. If they're going for the brains, I'm chilling, dude. I'm good.
We're good. The podcast.
If you're listening this far in the podcast, you know that we're good.
You're good as well.
Yep.
Congratulations.
No, we love you, listeners.
We love you so much, and we love you so much that we made you zombie without you realizing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good.
We slowly whittle away.
Also, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what I am following was something that infuriated me for no reason because I was minding my own business, and then I just saw this tweet. I didn't even see it when I was scrolling through TV, and so honestly, I should just like scroll by and not let it bother me. But it did. It did bother me, and this is a trend going on ESPN, I think recently, is not showing sports on their sports channels. And that includes the Microsoft Excel World Championships going on ESPN News. That is not a sport. I hate all things Microsoft. They're all of the devil. Microsoft Office is the worst. It is the worst thing ever. I say that as someone who has to use their products all day. And so I'm clearly not just, venting right now. And yes, it is the worst. Excel is the worst.
Johnny.
Microsoft is the worst. And it's not a sport. So it should not be on ESPN.
Jonathan, I've never been more disappointed in you.
Yeah, this is tough.
When you shared this in our group chat, and you're like, "This is what I'm following. This is straight to jail." And Aaron sent a perfect response, and it was because it's so low on the totem.
Yep.
Shown on ESPN News, it should be ESPN primary.
Yep.
This should be the only thing.
Simulcast on ESPN Deportes.
Yes, thank you. We need everyone.
Which, for those that don't speak Spanish, just actually means ESPN Sports in Spanish. Fun fact. Anyways, Johnny, I would straight to jail you for saying this needs to go to jail. Now, you have received several get out of jail free cards, so I cannot, in fact, put you in jail. And also, like, the last episode of the season, that feels a little like a bad way to end. You know what I mean? Like, yes, we have the awkward conversation of Josh not being real. Like, at some point, we're going to have to, like, clearly ChatGPT is not quite doing it for us. Like, at some point, we'll have to bring back real Josh, probably season 2. But this is
real Josh needs to be able to claim whatever prize he gets. If he gets
that's a good point.
Both NBA and NHL playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, I think
Excel's the worst. The people agree with me.
No.
I
disagree. I think people let us know. Are you pro Excel tournament on ESPN or are you anti Excel?
Just not even the tournament. Are you
or
pro
just in
or
general?
anti Excel?
Yep.
Excel's the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I'm not saying. John.
Here's what we'll do. Give us answers, Johnny. We're gonna make Johnny use an Excel document to track your answers.
No.
Yes.
I'll use numbers. I'll even use Google Sheets.
What does numbers give you that Excel doesn't?
Not being Excel.
You can program in Excel. It's a beautiful template. It's so powerful.
Horrible.
I'm learning Excel right now because I'm like, I am using like literally half a percentage of this to just fill in like my budget stuff. I'm like, I want to make graphs. I want to do things with this. I'm going to do. Yes. Did you see the original Excel commercial from like the 90s?
Josh, I had to take a class
in the elevator.
Excel.
Yeah,
Excel's the worst.
I remember you taking it. It was called Business Tools, and
yes,
you should have. So, like, of course, I'm like, oh yeah, Excel's dumb. I'm now much older, much more wise. I've mastered theology, as you know, and there is something to the beautiful simplicity that is Microsoft Excel.
I'm not saying simplicity. Simplicity.
Easy. No. Easy to get your toes in the water, and the ceiling is so high.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's putting your toes in the water and realizing it's lava. The floor is lava. That's what happens when you try to dip your toe in Excel. It turns into a floor is lava game. Anyway, this is depressing. We need to end this positive note. Somebody say something happy.
We do need an action statement, which I think is just use Excel. I don't know, Josh. It's over to you.
No, use Excel, or you know what?
You know, throw if Excel was a physical thing, I'd toss it in the volcano. Toss it in the volcano.
I had a backup thing for what I'm following. I'm going to see if I can find this.
I've got a lamer action statement that the listeners should do in lieu of our couple week break here as we head into season 2. We're not going anywhere. The Olympics are happening soon. We're going to have content surrounding that. Your action statement should be I really don't try to be annoying about this, but you should actually subscribe to our YouTube channel because we've got some fun videos coming out. I'm personally working on a couple of videos that I think people are going to like. We've got anything from like how baseball statistics work. So if you're watching a game and you see like WHIP or FIP or ERA plus and you're thinking, what the heck is that? We're making a video that literally breaks all of that down, and it's got like chapters so you can just jump around to these stats that you want to know about. We've got a backyard baseball playthrough for lovers of backyard baseball. We've got a trivia show that's coming out soon. So stay tuned to our YouTube. This podcast might be taking a break, but we've got a lot more content coming, so we encourage you to check out our YouTube. There's also stuff happening on Instagram. So some fun things. I won't spoil it all, but I'm very excited for the next few weeks of Fifth and Goal. So stay tuned. It's a fun time of year. It's a busy summer. Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, the summer will be lighter for sports, and it just never is, which is kind of fun. It's kind of good that way. So anyways, that's my kind of lame podcast host action statement. Josh, I don't know if you got anything better. If not, that's fine. But
no, just all the things I'm following are kind of just like lightly sad. You know what? Here. Michigan woman kicked out after police discover she had been living inside grocery store. Yeah. Michigan woman kicked out after police discover she had been living inside a grocery store store sign. So you know what? Here's your action statement. Take a nap in a place that no one would expect anybody to be.
She had like moved in though. That was crazy.
Honestly, it had a job, access to a car, and just simply lived in the sign. You know what? As I've been looking for apartments,
I gotta see this sign, man. I gotta see this sign.
Yep. All right.
And they only discovered her because they were doing maintenance. They wouldn't have never found her.
That's crazy.
They had to do maintenance on the sign. I gotta see this sign.
Yep.
Why does this Audacity.com not give me a picture of the sign?
Yeah, give the people what they want.
Mm-hmm.
The action statement. Find the sign. Send it to us.
Find the there it is. There's your action. Yeah, find the sign.
Yeah. Drive to Michigan. All right, listeners.
Or another sign you could live in.
Yeah, that's right. Anything.
What part of Michigan?
Many options. Listeners, thanks for being with us for season 1. Season 2 will be back, as I said, in a couple weeks. We've got some fun new things we're going to try in season 2. As always, we appreciate your feedback. We always appreciate you all reaching out on whatever platform. We've had anything from Facebook Messenger. Apparently, people still use that, so shout out to you guys. To Twitter, to whatever. We appreciate the feedback, positive or negative. We really appreciate you guys listening. It means a lot. We will see you guys in a couple weeks. Until then, have a great rest of your weeks, I guess. Thanks for being here.